Yeah, so where would you start as a real estate agent? Great question. So if you go into the platform, just mentioned, and you are a real estate agent, you should see a real estate tutorials option. And I'm just highlighting this, but I'm not going to tell you to just go read the manual while we're here live. I just want to highlight that we do have kind of documentation on specific case studies and things you can do for real estate. But here's the order of operations, the things that I would do as an agent. So I'm just going to kind of scroll down on my doc. Real estate, let's pretend we're in third grade again. Was it third or fourth grade? Order operations. What is it? Multiplication, division. What is it, Eric? Help me out.
PEMDAS.
Huh?
It's that PEMDAS.
PEMDAS, right. So
Parentheses,
parentheses, exponents.
exponents,
Yep.
multiplication,
So,
division.
yeah, so let's do a real estate order of operations for that. So David, if you have listings, I would start with just listed, just sold. So anytime you have a just listed or just sold property, I would definitely think about using thanks.io to do something like what Brett is doing here. You could use our justlistedjustsold.com tool, which kind of shortcuts things. Or if you want to go a little more custom, you can do that as well. So I'm just showing just listed, just sold on the screen here. And it kind of just is like an easy button right here. Or you can go a little crazier. Brett here does for all his listings. I'm just trying to, there we go. You can do something like this. Your neighbor's house just sold. And then this scripting should be available in your account if we've tagged you as a real estate person. If not, let us know and we'll tag you. You can just chat us in. But basically, you do something like, hey, we just represented this property. If you have any questions, reach out to me. They can call you or text you. And then the QR scan, generally just say, hey, if you want to find out what your house might sell for, scan the QR code. And that formula tends to work pretty good in general for getting people, for getting, say, between a 2 and 8% or so scan rate and getting people, added to your warm list, as we talked about earlier in this session, people who are scanning the code in real time. So start with just listed. The next place I would go is your current sphere, right? Sphere of influence / database. And I would, find everyone you have an address for and offer, either a home value report or a list of investment properties. One of those two things. And if you don't have addresses, a good exercise would be to get them. So you could Facebook people, hey, you mind if I add you to my mailing list? People who know you, or just go and try to figure out, even if it's only 10 people, try to send them something at least 4 times a year, 4x year. So again, a good first touch is home value report offer. So that looks like, I'm in Brett's account, but I know he's got these in here, so I'm just going to stay in here. And your account should have some of these templates, but the one that is used very heavily by our agents, Eric, you've done this for a lot of people, right? This particular card.
Yep.
See how much a buyer might pay for this address today. So in our system, it'll merge in their address, it'll put a picture of their property on it, and then scan the QR code to instantly see. In this case, Brett's using a tool that will give 4 sources. It doesn't matter what you use. Most agents have something on their website that will let them, give a value. And this will convert, 1, 2, 3% to cold. If it's people who know you already, you might see up to a 10% scan rate. So try to get this card in front of your existing sphere of influence or something like it. Or the investment idea, which is totally, I tell everybody to do this, nobody does it, but it really does convert. Just offer an investment property list. So, area real estate deals, foreclosures, fixers, just create a link on your website. People will scan to see that, and the people who scan to see that will tend to own homes. So if you want more listings, it's kind of a cool way to engage people on the buyer side of things, around investment properties, but you're building a relationship on that side so that you eventually are there when they're ready to sell if you want listings. So I really like that angle there. So offer that to your existing sphere. And then once you've done that, go cold lists. Right. So everybody, Eric, you know it, right? Everybody comes to us and they say, I want to just get more listings, and they try to send like 100 cards to a cold list. And what typically happens is you don't get a listing from that on day one. Because you need repetition, you need people to know, like, and trust you. You know, lots of reasons why just one postcard usually doesn't ROI. Sometimes you get lucky. But what you want to do is prove out mail by just, you know, having something interesting for people to engage with. To me, that's just sold, because everyone wants to know what's going on with their neighborhood. And then your sphere of influence, send them that home value report that lists investment properties. I did skip something. Happy house anniversary cards, happy happy birthday, right? Happy holidays. So those would be, if you're going to send quarterly touches, you know, something holiday related, something about their home value. If you have their birth dates, Thanks.io can automate that. If you know what day they bought their house, or when they bought their house, you can say, hey, can you believe it's been 2 years since I sold you your house? You know, it's an interesting touch point. On the cold lists, you can then start to send home value offers, right? Absentee to absentees, if you want to do absentee campaigns. So Thanks.io has functionality where you can upload a list of people who live out of state, for example, and you send to the out of state address, but there's a picture of the property owned in your town on the card. Orphan letters. Here, I'll show you an example of what I mean by that. Right here. And I am just spitballing right now. I'm probably missing some ideas, but this is the very long-winded answer to your question, David. But an orphan letter would look like, and this should be a default template, but something like this, where you go and you find people who bought their house 5 years ago, maybe in your tax database, right? And you know that the agent who sold them that house probably has disappeared, because that's just the nature of our business, right? Or you could even look and see who did the transaction and see if they're still active. And then you're picking up the relationship right here. Hey, can you believe it's been 5 years? Congrats on that. The reason I'm writing is to offer you my assistance, you know, tapping some equity, buying an investment property. So you could do stuff like this to start to use mail to pick up new clients there. So I'm just looking at the chat to see if there's any other comments on this. And guys, let me know, what do you think of some of these ideas? Again, I'm going quickly. If you're in real estate and you go to, it's http go.thanks.io/real estate, or you just go to the link in your dashboard. If we've tagged you as real estate, you'll see this real estate tutorials, and a lot of these examples are here. And the next thing I would say is that we're pretty full service. If you like any of these ideas, you just don't have the time for the technical side of it, and you want guidance, we're here to help as well. So you just use our concierge option right here, City Automation Concierge, and reach out, and you can schedule a time with us to do a lot of this stuff. But yeah, that's the order of operations. Your existing sphere, just list just sold, your existing sphere, and then start playing with cold targets around any number of different ideas. I also like business owners. You know, send mails to business owners offering a new location or investment property, because they own a business, so they're probably open-minded to owning real estate, right? It's almost everybody's plan is to use the proceeds from their businesses to build up some wealth through real estate. So those are good targets too if you're going cold lists. Let's see here, and we probably need to do a full session just for real estate again. We haven't done one of those in a year or two.